All right, we're back with another episode 12 of Shoot
Wow.
the J. I'm here with Tyrone Jackson. Our guest will join us shortly. Don Jackson is on his way in. But we're going to start this thing off, the same way we always start it off. What are you drinking?
All right. A little margarita with a lime as a garnish.
Oh, that's good. I got a
Very
little
nice.
Cabernet Sauvignon today.
Oh, really?
What I have here.
Yeah. Stepping up, huh?
Yeah,
Got a little French thing to it.
from the vineyards of Shea Ripple. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
I'll
You
start.
can get that from the Whole Foods Company, huh? Whole Foods.
No, they don't have no good wine at the Whole Foods.
Uh-huh.
They ain't nothing like that. Man, the first thing I want to bring up, we have a real good special guest today as well. But
Okay.
first thing I want to bring up is we got Pulev versus Anthony Joshua this weekend. Okay.
Yes.
Anthony Joshua is a massive favorite against Pulev. What are your thoughts on? Do you think Anthony Joshua is going to pull off and win this fight, knowing that he has two mega fights right behind it, with Tyson Fury behind it and possibly Deontay Wilder right behind him? Do you think he's going to win this fight, given his lapses and his chin? What do you think about that?
Well, first thing is Joshua came in at around 240, something like that,
That's right.
which is maybe 3 pounds higher than he fought Ruiz the second time.
Okay.
I think it was 237 for that. Pulev is 239,
Okay.
which is he's usually around 255 when he fought Klitschko,
Okay.
and I think he got knocked out in the 8th round, 10th round, something like that.
Yeah, vicious knockout by Klitschko.
So I've watched Pulev, and he's like a very offensive fighter. I don't see much defense. At some point, somebody's got to play defense. So I think Joshua is going to be kind of smart, and he's going to win this fight. But anything can happen when you have a suspect chin. So I'm going to give it to Anthony Joshua. He knows what's at stake, and I don't think Pulev will be able to get in if he plays rough with him.
I think the betting line is so high against Pulev that if you put $40 on Pulev, you can win $350.
It's
Okay.
nice.
And with a chin like Anthony Joshua, I mean, I'm inclined to put a little $40 on it. I mean, it'll be a better return than anything you can get from a scratch off or a lottery ticket, because
Right.
he doesn't have the greatest chin in the world. I mean, he said in the press conference that he's going to steamroll Pulev, okay? And as you say, he came in heavier than his last fight, and Pulev came in slimmer than he normally comes in, which tells me he may not be as offensive as he is in the past. He might is trained to do a little more running and try to get Joshua in the later rounds, where we all know he's got stamina issues also.
Yeah, as long as he don't run in like Nate Robinson, and
Poor
be all
Nate
right.
gonna be poor Nate. Maybe the new year 2021 we'll get off Nate, but poor Nate gonna be the butt of the jokes, bro, for a long time, bro. Until another bad knockout comes out there. You know what I mean?
it was bad. It was bad, man. But Joshua, he does have stamina issues, but I mean, he can't afford to lose another one.
Right.
With this record, I mean, anybody could lose, and that still doesn't diminish their skill set as a fighter.
Right.
However, the way the state of boxing is right now, where you try to nourish a record and you don't fight who you should fight,
Right.
I mean that's you won't get the fight you want to see. I mean, Deontay Wilder is trying to sue to fight Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury say he's moving on. What happened to the rematch clause that y'all had in the pandemic? What happened to the honor system? So people were moving away from Deontay Wilder in the beginning.
Right.
People move. King Kong Ortiz hasn't had a good fight since.
Right.
Nobody's lining up to fight him. Joseph Parker, he fought a while ago, whatever, and that's it. It's like, man, if you can avoid somebody, you will. But back in the day, you didn't avoid somebody. You went, Foreman fought Joe Frazier again, and it was Joe
Right.
Frazier's last fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he didn't get a chance to fight Ali again, but he wanted to.
Right.
It's just different times, man. You nourish a record, and I understand it, you know. But he's
I
got
mean, to be honest with you, I think back in the day they would have done the same thing they're doing now if they had the outlets that they have now. Like then, you had to go on to a movie theater to watch the fight for closed circuit, is what you'd have to watch. That was the pay per view of its time.
right,
But those guys had to fight each other because the network was paying for it. They had the network money paying you, and outside of that, they had to fight in casinos and just get the live gate, but not this big mega money. So now what the promoters are doing, they have their staple of fighters. The risk to have an unbeaten fighter to lose with another promoter attached to it is too great. So you see Anthony Joshua fighting guys in his state. They're trying to pump up this Usyk match. Usyk is a cruiserweight. He's not really a match for Joshua, but they keep pumping him up like he's a real match, a real credible heavyweight, and he's not. Okay? To be honest, I think he lost to Chisora. When I saw that fight, he didn't do anything to show me anything that he beat Derek Chisora, who's way past his prime and been knocked out several times. Bob Arum has his two guys with Tyson Fury and Pulev. And PBC has Wilder and the Polish guy, Adam Polsnak. I can't forget. I remember his name.
Posnaki or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So the risk is too great for them to fight each other and lose your version of the undefeated fighter. You know what I mean? And the onus is on the fighter to say, look, I understand you're the promoter, but I want to fight this guy. Like, to me, Anthony Joshua and Todd Reynolds, if you listen out there, I know this is your guy, Todd Reynolds. All Anthony Joshua is a good-looking Frank Bruno to me, okay? That's all he is. He's a Frank Bruno that looks good in the face. They got the same body type, too, if you want to argue that as well. They got the same skill level. Uh-oh. You just
Got the duck.
Got him in with the Navy curtains back there, huh? They about to join the Navy?
And I don't do decor. I just arrive.
You just provide, bro. You just make the house. You let them decorate the way you want it, right? The way they want it.
So, Dave, when you have so many houses in the place, you can choose whatever room you want to be in.
Yeah, you can do it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Too bad my pool room ain't set up yet, because I'd be there. Trust me.
That's all right. What you drinking since you joined us here late?
Ice cold.
Coca-Cola? Nothing indica?
Ice.
So, Dave, to your point, bro, what's going to end up happening is whoever has the most fighters in their stable is going to be able to rotate those guys in and out and free somebody out. Remember, George Foreman had the NBAF belt, and that belt is no longer exists because they froze him out. Nobody wanted to fight him, and so he didn't have any contenders. So he retired, and the NBAF belt is gone. There's no division there. So just imagine, like Terrence Crawford is in a situation where he wants to fight people, but Al Heyman got Spence, Porter, Keith Thurman, all these other people in PBC that he can rotate and fight. Danny Garcia is one of his fighters. So if they want to freeze out Crawford, they could do it. If they want to, you see Joshua has, 3 belts. He can freeze out whoever he want to freeze out. Tyson Fury finally got a belt. He's got so much of mouth that he's going to fight his way into somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But poor Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't get this Fury fight, it's going to be a long time before letting him. And Ortiz. None of those belts will go, you know.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. The public has to demand the fight for the fight to happen. When there's so much money on the table, the promoters are being greedy. They can't resist themselves. Whether or not they win or lose, their fighter win or loses. When you make one of those $150 million fights, win or lose, you still win at the end of the day. So it has to be one of those type of fights to get those guys involved. And I agree with you. Wilder is on the outside looking in because he doesn't possess, a belt at this particular time. And who's going to risk fighting him? But the beauty of this thing is the Ruiz win was so key for the heavyweight division because it showed you can lose to a regular dude, right? And miss your payday. So I might as well get the payday and win or lose regardless. Because a little dude like Ruiz who's eating on chimichangas and chalupas could come in here and beat me. You know what I mean? Hell, I might as well get paid the $100 million a fight of Deontay Wilder. And as for me, I'm putting like $40 on Pulev because the odds are so great against him, and he does have real heavy hands, and he could catch Joshua and hurt him. And so I'm gonna put 40. I missed my opportunity on Ruiz the first time because of other issues, but I'm not gonna miss it this time because I can make $375 by putting $40 on him. So that's where I'm going with it.
Or you can kiss you $40 goodbye.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna spend $40 on these people in this house some way by tomorrow. Tomorrow they're gonna have me spend 40 on them some way. So
hopefully you didn't put $40 on the Patriots last night.
Oh no. Guys, I'm gonna admit our guest in right now.
Sounds good.
It's always a surprise.
Always a surprise.
Oh.
Man, you coming on a sports show. You got you and your lady on the picture, a little sweet tender picture.
This is not my boy from Baton Rouge, is it?
Oh.
I didn't realize people were going to see that picture. Is this going to be part of it?
You put
Part
it
of
up
it,
there.
dog. We clowning on it now, so we got it. We got it.
Oh.
You try to get brownie points.
I got
We're getting a lot of brownie points now.
You're getting buku brownie points.
Yeah, baby. You know, I had to do this little show, you know, but I had to feature you and I, you know, on the show to let all the ladies know that I'm taken, you know.
I have to show my little arm candy, you know what I'm saying?
Are we doing the show now? Is this on or is this outtakes?
Oh, we wait for your video, dude.
You live, baby.
Have you been prepped for this, bro? You know what I'm saying? Somebody
The
prepped
radio
you?
I literally just got all right.
There we go.
Sometimes you leave you out there hanging in the wind, bro.
I
Sometimes
literally
you-
just got something that said start my video after talking to you guys for like 3 minutes.
Guys, I want to introduce Ryan Shatlin to the show, sports writer extraordinaire, also a musician who has an album that's out right now called The Shoestring Sessions, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, right here. It's right here.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Yeah, it just came out. I don't know when this show goes live or not, but it just came out today, which we're recording this on Friday, so it came out today.
Looks like some gang-related stuff with the shoes on the lines like that.
I've heard that. It's not what it means at all, like, from my perspective. I did research. I know that that's one of the things. There are many theories behind the shoestrings, the shoes on a telephone line. I'm originally from New Orleans. I lived in Brooklyn for 10 years. These things are all over New York City, and it's more what they call shoe-feedy, I think is what the
shoe-feedy.
Whatever. And I just find it just more humorous than anything. It's always just so random. And right now I live in New Jersey in the suburbs. There's no gang activity anywhere near here, and there's shoes right around the corner from my house. And I actually read a lot of. I know way more about this topic than I probably should, but I do know that that's one of many theories behind.
Are you a guitarist? Do you play guitar?
I sing, play guitar, write all my music.
Great.
I understand. I know Dave raps. Is it? I know. Are you all musicians? I know one of you.
Well, Dave raps like burritos, chalupas, and stuff like that. You know,
That was a funny one.
gyros, stuff like that.
Raps, yeah, like that. That's pretty good. Yeah,
No, we all are. Yeah, definitely.
all of us are musicians. Even my sister.
All of you. That's awesome, man. Y'all ever get together and play?
Yeah, we did one project together. We did an album together, and our producer Tyrone said, "Never again." He said he'll never do it again.
Is that what I said?
Huh?
Is that what I said?
Yeah, was it, bro?
Oh, well, maybe he didn't tell you. I was part of the meeting after the meeting.
Wow.
Y'all what did you call yourselves? The Jackson 3?
Oh,
Very close. We're J3.
Ah!
This is J3, right?
You didn't ask me what I'm
congratulations.
drinking. I know that's what y'all do.
Oh, I mean,
Well,
you were
yeah.
going on a shoestring and gentrification of the gangs in New Jersey. I didn't have time to get my little question. You know what I mean? What
that
are
looks like
you
an amber beer. What's that?
Blue Point Toasted Lager from Long Island. It's a great beer, especially during the winter. It's a good beer to drink in the winter. It's cold. It has
Okay.
kind of a smokier kind of taste to it.
Man, that's that medieval times mug that you got. You a big
I always keep a mug in the freezer, frozen for special occasions. I thought I'd get it out to look a little fancy for you guys.
very,
There we go.
very good, very good. So while
Congratulations on the CD.
yes, congratulations. We'll
Thank you.
talk a little more about that at the end. I want to kind of get your take on what your song's about and your style, etc. But we're talking NFC right now. What's the best team in your opinion? What's the best team in NFC right now?
I mean, I think you got to say the Saints right now, and I don't say that, admittedly I'm a Saints fan, but I think over these, especially these last 2 years, would really, if you need any more evidence of how stacked this team is, they are 8-0 without Drew Brees over the last 2 years, and that just speaks volumes about the roster that Mickey Loomis has built. And saying that, with that said, I would not want to go into the playoffs without Drew Brees. I would not want to face Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes with Taysom Hill at quarterback.
No, sir.
But this team, the offensive line, when it's healthy, is really good. This defensive line is nasty and it's deep. And I came into the year, I didn't think, I knew they had some good players on it. I didn't think they were that good.
Right.
As good as they are. Trey Hendrickson is just, his meteoric rise has just been a big story for the team. The secondary, that was supposed to be the strength. They started out slow. You kind of saw it in the Atlanta game. When they play with discipline, they are fantastic. They didn't play with discipline, which is what we saw in those 2 losses earlier this year. A lot of penalties, just a lot of grabbing guys as they're running by. And I think, the biggest weakness, I remember looking in the preseason, looking at the linebacking core and being like, all right, they got DeMario Davis and basically no one else.
Yeah, that's right.
And they went out and got Quan Alexander. And, when you have a good defensive line and a good secondary, maybe all you need is 2 good linebackers.
Right.
And so I think they're just, and obviously the playmakers on this team, Kamara, Michael Thomas is healthy. You just need some other guys to step up, and Michael Thomas caught 1 million passes last year without really any formidable number 2 receiver on the other side. And I think they're better off, right now with Emmanuel Sanders. And, so I just think they're a really well-built team. The biggest question is still quarterback, whether Brees is there or not, though, because Brees, we can see it. He's not the same Brees he was a few years ago.
Right. Don, what do you think?
I got to agree with Ryan. I mean, the Saints are the team to beat. I mean, you look at how the defense has gelled over these last 5 or 6 games. I was really skeptical at the beginning of the season, thinking, man, this defense needs some work. But it seems like, just like Ryan is saying, they're coming along at the right time with the addition of Alexander, Quan Alexander, the linebacker. Oh, my goodness. You see a lot of tenacity there. And ball hawking that you wish you had at that position now in the linebacking position, and even the coverage is better on the deep routes and some of the shallow routes that we've seen. C.J. Gardner is just having an impressive season.
Yes.
In the heads of key wide receivers for other teams, and I like the way Malcolm Jenkins is playing. I mean. A lot of us thought he was washed up. He went to Philly. He won a ring in Philly. He came back to us, and he's still producing. I mean, I think he's leading the league in tackles. I mean, leading the team in tackles or breakups right now. So they're the team to beat. And my biggest fear in the NFC right now is Green Bay. Looking at what they're bringing to the table and making sure we match up accordingly.
Tyrone?
My biggest fear is for the Saints to play one of those fringe teams. And I'll say this. If the Saints don't get a bye, then they're at the mercy of a Minnesota team or, God forbid, a team like the Washington Redskins that come in and are riding the momentum.
The
and Alex,
football team?
Yes. What did I say? Did I say the Redskins?
The Washington
Sorry.
football team?
Old habits die hard. The Washington football team, where Alex Smith is one of those quarterbacks that's not going to lose the game for you. And so you have somebody in Rivera, who's very familiar with the Saints, Carolina, anybody out of the division. So my fear is that if the Saints don't one up Green Bay and get that bye week so Drew Brees can really heal, I think that they will play down to the competition. They need to play a team that they want to challenge for. Vis-a-vis Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They beat the brakes off Tampa Bay. But then they almost lose to Atlanta, who's a funky team. Atlanta is like the best bad team you would play. It's like they killed the Raiders. They almost came back against the Saints, and I think that the Saints have to beware of those type of teams, especially Minnesota. Like if Minnesota is playing pretty decent ball right now, Jefferson is going off. So I fear the smaller teams for the Saints. They always play for the big games. And then you got the Rams, which is they're seeming to click on all cylinders right now, and their rushing game is starting to come forward too. So don't close the door on the Rams.
Or are you saying
either.
the Saints are the best team? Who's your pick for the best team in the NFC?
I would have to say the Saints because they keep winning with different formulas every week. So if you can get people to be off kilter with their planning on defense, that makes them the better team. So I would say the Saints are the team to beat, and we'll see. I think I'll go with them. Green Bay, I'm not scared of Green Bay unless they're playing in Green Bay. So
I actually have a bit of a different take. I actually think Green Bay is a better team at this particular point. We've won. We're probably a more complete team, no doubt about it. We have a better defense than they do. We have a better running game. We have a better number one wide receiver. But they still have that guy in Aaron Rodgers who can turn a game around. And we haven't had the consistency with Drew Brees yet. Is he going to be 100% after all those broken ribs? Is his timing going to be off? And they've had the consistency with Rodgers. It's like we talked about the Clippers earlier. Oh, we've got Paul George, we got Kawhi, we got Lou Williams, we got Montrezl. Yeah, but the Lakers still got that one guy with LeBron. You may have the more complete team, but you got that one guy who's a game changer. And I think Green Bay, they beat us early on in the season, if I'm not mistaken. They beat us early on. They've got the continuity of Aaron Rodgers, and he's a game changer. We don't know what we look like without number one. And another question mark is Sean Payton. What is Sean Payton going to do in a big moment? Is he going to do the triple reverse to the handoff to the popcorn guy, to the hand back to the pretzel dude, back to Kamara for the pass to Taysom Hill? Is he going to get excited when Breeze is back? Or is he going to play basic football like we've been doing and just win it with basic football? So I think Green Bay is just ahead of us because of that one guy, not because they're a better team. But I think Green Bay actually is the best team, is my pick for the best team in the NFC right now.
what about Matt LaFleur, the coach of Green Bay? I don't think he's proven yet. You can say all that you want to say, but I don't think that he's proven yet.
He ain't proven to do a quadruple reverse, I'll tell you that much. He hadn't tried
He might try it. He might try it.
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Okay, so everybody's picked the Saints basically, except me. Do y'all think anybody else besides Saints Rams has a shot at the NFC?
I mean, I think what you were saying about the Packers is kind of what I was thinking. I think the Saints are the better team, but the Packers scare me. And for that one reason is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, even if you're up by 10 points with 5 minutes left in the game, Aaron Rodgers just has that magic spark that, he can turn a game around in one pass. He always seems to make the receivers around him better. And, I mean, I tell you what, Drew Brees is my favorite football player of all time. And we've been fortunate enough to get to watch him here for 15 years. But I've, for that very reason, we've been able to track his decline. We know the things he can't do. And I remember watching games last year. I remember that there was one game late in the season. It was the Packers. We needed them to lose a game, and it was right after the Saints game. And man, you just watch Aaron Rodgers throw that ball downfield, and you're like, "Oh, I forgot what that looked like."
Yeah.
You've been watching so much Saints football, so they really do scare me. I mean, the Seahawks scare me. I know they have that kind of potential, with Russell Wilson and Metcalf, and I mean, the Saints are not head and shoulders above any team in the NFC. So, I'll say they're number one, but I mean, they lost to Minnesota in the playoffs last year. They were better than that team. Anything can happen in the playoffs.
Give us your four. I'll start with you, Ryan. Give us your four teams in the NFC, like you're ranking 1 through 4.
I mean, I guess I would say Saints 1, Packers 2. There's definitely no team in the NFC East I'm putting in there. So I guess I'd probably say, I don't feel like I'm overlooking somebody, but I would probably say Seattle 3, and then maybe the Rams.
Okay, Don.
I'm almost in the same lineup with Ryan. The only disagreement I have is ranking of Seattle and the Rams. I'll put the Rams over Seattle. Seattle has troubled me these past couple of weeks with their style of play and not getting up for the team. So I would go Saints, Green Bay, Rams, then Seattle.
Tyrone?
I have Saints, Rams, then Green Bay, then Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tampa over Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got Green Bay, Saints, Rams, and Seahawks as my top 4 teams. Like Don said, the Rams are starting to gel a little more late. Or was that you, Tyrone, that said? I forgot.
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter, right? Starting to gel a little bit late. They do have weapons, so that's my ranking. Let's move on. We got Ryan for another segment here. Let's talk about the Paul George extension that he got from the Clippers. He got announced today that he has a 5-year, $190, exactly the same as Anthony Davis. But this year, with his payment this year, the total deal is worth $225 million in 6 years. Is Paul George worth the money? What do y'all think about the contract extension, and does it make the Clippers a contender for the finals?
Well, I'll start it off then. They're trying to get him to buy in. They have no other recourse. They don't have any younger players. They can't get anything. They've lobbied all their draft picks and everything for this squad. So the best thing you can do is kind of give them this confidence that they can go out and have something to prove. And so the Clippers, being the favorite last year, worked against them. But now I've heard that Kawhi is being more vocal. Paul George is saying more stuff, which I think he should say less stuff and just prove it in court. But I think that now that they got the bullseye on saying that you guys are not as tough as y'all think y'all are, and then we took away one of your tough players in Trez, so they got a lot to prove. And I think to try to galvanize your parts together that you can't do anything with anyway. You can't trade away Paul George. Nobody's going to buy that. You're not getting any younger. The thing now you got to do is this Jedi mind trick that Ty Lue is going to do and say, hey, man, it's us against the world. They don't think that you're good. Let's stop talking. Let's start working, So
Don?
that's what I feel they are.
Don?
I mean, it's an awful lot of money. Paul George. And then I'm going to just break it down. I mean, on Stephen A's show today, I think Kendrick Perkins said there's some soft Twinkies. Hot Twinkies. Talking about the Clippers' whole team.
Softer than hot Twinkies, yep.
Yeah, softer than hot Twinkies. So you took a lot of their grit, too. Now, you have Beverly there. I mean, Beverly can only bulldog one guard. I see Paul George as tough as the Clippers would want him to be. I think Kawhi, it doesn't matter what you try to do to Kawhi. Kawhi is a game no matter what. He's like a big fundamental player. But Paul George, he's too streaky for me. And like Ty is saying, hopefully Tyronn Lue's mind trick works, but it might work him enough to get to the playoffs, but will it beat the Lakers? That's the question. Everybody's trying to build toward the Lakers, and I don't want to take too much of Ryan's time.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Basketball is not my strong suit. I'm just going to drink during this segment, if that's all right with you.
Hey, the question is, do the Clippers always go against the Lakers, or do they have redemption against Denver?
Hold on, T.
Right.
Hold on 1 second. This man, I thought he was looking on his phone for stats the whole time while all of y'all are talking. And then when it gets his turn, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and drink while y'all.
I thought he was taking notes too, Dave. I can't lie.
I was like, this man pulling some real stats down here now,
I could try to say something, but I'll just say something stupid. I mean, I know, I think it does, the little bit I do know about the Clippers, I think it, it comes down to them and the Lakers. And
right.
The West doesn't feel like it's as strong as it has been in years past, especially with the breakup of the Rockets going on. It feels like it's, it feels kind of like it could be just a couple of teams. I mean, y'all can, again, I feel like I'm going to say something really stupid if I keep talking.
No, it's all good. I mean, that's the LeBron James effect.
Right.
When he went to the East and he dominated, everybody said, oh, the East is weak. Everybody knows this. He couldn't do that in the West. He gets in the West in 2 years. He's already won a championship within 2 years of being in the West. And now everybody's saying, not you particularly, Ryan, but now a lot of people are saying, oh, the West doesn't seem like it used to be. No, that's called the LeBron James effect. He came in there and trounced, gentleman sweep, won a title in 6 games. And now it's like an immigration, like all the players. Russell Westbrook, now he's going to the East. Kevin Durant, Brooklyn, going to the East. Millsaps even said it when they played in Utah. He saw LeBron on the tip-off, and he said, I left Atlanta to get away from you. What are you doing here? You know what I mean? So he has that effect. Go ahead, Tyrone. I'll cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Everybody looks at the Lakers, Clippers, but the Clippers got to exercise the demon on the Denver Nuggets first. And Dallas Mavericks, all these teams that are gunning for the Clippers, you can't start at the top. Me and Don was in the band together, and we had an awesome drum line, right? And the way you would do it, you would challenge, but you can't just challenge the top guy. Your 5 go against 5, and if you beat they 5, you go against 4. Well, probably 4 will beat your 5, and you go on down the line. In our drum corps, very rarely our 1 had to even play against anybody, because nobody can make it past number 2 cat. So if you're going to get to the Lakers, stop talking Lakers. You got to take care of your business, get past Denver. You got to get past Dallas. People who are gunning, Portland, gunning for you.
Right
I dare say that my book, looking at the teams in the West last year, Houston was killing everybody. And I think people had Houston up there to the final dance. I think Lakers was the big experiment last year. Mm-hmm. With all these bigs and will he have enough pieces to make it? So I think people have just confirmed their sense that the Lakers were dominant, but weren't really believing in it. And then Golden State was a very, very strong team until injuries. Trade bugs started getting them because everybody trades away teams' pieces as much as they can chip away at it. Golden State still would have been up there, but the West is still strong, in my opinion, that, you have a new baller in town. You put a dominant center with a dominant freaking power guard forward in LeBron, and they rock the world in the West. And now you have everybody trying to play catch up, but West is still strong. I think LeBron and them need to be careful, because they can have a false sense of security going into this season, and a team that's hungry with young talent that would knock them off. I believe that's a problem for the West, because they're used to running and gunning and everything that they do. And fresh talent builds into that run and gun style.
I think there's another player that we haven't talked about.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And that he wears a number 19 on his jersey. His name is Corona 19, COVID-19. All right. If he comes through there and gets some of your star guys out, what's 10 days in basketball? This is not like football, right? 10 days in basketball could be 3 or 4 games, right? And then you got to go past the protocol. And then you look at the Clippers. Got Lemon Pepper Lou might just, feel like going to get something to eat and be exposed, and you out 7 days, that could be your season. It's already a truncated season, right?
Yeah, be exposed both ways to the rock and other things. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's a good point because in the West, you lose 2 games, you could drop from 2nd to 7th. You know,
Right.
and you lose a star player. The NBA is built on their stars. You lose LeBron for 2 weeks, you could go from 1st place to 5th within a 2-week period just by dropping 3 games because it's so tight out. That's a very good point.
Look at Draymond Green and Wiseman. They're out. They haven't been able to practice. Now, Draymond Green is one of your biggest leaders of the team, knows the offense. Wiseman is your number 1 draft pick,
Right.
and they have no time together on the court. You can have so many Zoom meetings you want. If you're not on the court playing, you're not gonna get a feel for it. You know.
That's a good point. I think Paul George thing. I mean, I'm with you, Tyrone. They didn't really have a choice. They had to pay him the money. They don't have any draft picks, so it's not like they can draft for any star that's coming up. Number 2, Steve Ballmer is just bought the Forum, and he's rebuilding it to something for just the Clippers, so they won't have to share the Staples Centers anymore. So he's got billions invested in the Clippers. It can't be a rebuild season, right? So you can't let Paul George go. You have to max him out. You don't have anybody coming down. You don't have any draft picks coming. So that's basically your only move. But the sad part about it is they think they have a championship window. Both of those guys are delicate. Kawhi missed the whole season. He's got tendonitis. He doesn't play 82 games. Paul George is coming off a double rotator cuff surgery, and he had a broken leg about 4 or 5 years ago. The old man in LeBron, who's going to be 36 in December, is more durable than the other 2 guys. Even though they're younger than he is, he's more durable than they are. And us in New Orleans, we're familiar with Anthony Davis injury history. He can get hurt going to Baskin Robbins ordering a cherry vanilla. You know what I mean? It doesn't take anything for him to get hurt. So, you know, I just think they didn't have a choice with the Paul George situation. All right. Well, Ryan, while we're on you, talk to us about your album. Let's talk to us about what's inspired the album and what type of music that you sing and perform.
Yeah, so, you know, I actually put an album out 16 years ago. I've been 16 years between albums.
All right.
And, you know, I think why such a long delay? Like, I would say 80% of that was logistical, 20% was procrastination. You know, I had the songs. You know, for a while now, I've had enough songs to put out an album, but you know, just finding place to record, time to record, musicians to record with was always problematic. And then the pandemic hit, and March, and then I lost my job in April. And right away, I was like, well, Ryan, now you've got a lot of time on your hands, and you can't go anywhere, and you have the songs. So I was determined to get it done, and so I reached out to my buddies who played on my last album and asked them if they were interested in working with me again, and they were, and we all kind of did this at our homes, sending files back and forth on the internet, and that's kind of how it came together. And you know, so relieved that, you know, because for years and years I was like, I'm gonna make another album. I'm so relieved now that I can say I finally made it. But the music itself, you know, as you can imagine, these are songs written over a span of 16 years. So here, I was in a lot of different headspace in all those times. So, you know, my music is it's a little schizophrenic. It can be rock, and then it can be country 1 second, and then it can be kind of pop and singer-songwriter kind of sound. So it kind of bounces back and forth between all those things. I always tell people, because I think if you don't like country, telling someone that you play country is, you know, the equivalent of, you know, pineapple pizza or something. You know, people don't like that. You know, they're just like, oh, you know, country. But I always tell people, like, my country isn't really country. It's, you know, there's hints of country,
Right.
but it's the kind of country that you might not even like. If you don't like country, there's a chance you might like this, because it doesn't go completely into that territory. So that's kind of what it is. So the songs, you know, some of them are sad, some of them are kind of lighthearted. I have a song about it's a kind of a barroom country sing along where about a guy who falls in love with a woman and slowly begins to realize that she's
Man.
A
that she's a
man?
murderer, potentially.
Sorry, go
Or
ahead.
one step from the asylum.
Okay.
So,
That's
try
not
to have,
always true. That's true right there.
right. So, I try to, I write the serious stuff, but I get to a point where I'm like, I don't like for my music to take itself too seriously.
Right.
So I always kind of try to pull back and try to have a little, try to keep things a little light here and there too. And so that's.
What's your process, Ryan? Like, do you start with like lyrics, or do you start with a harmonic progression, or you try to figure out what kind of mood you're in, or you have a like me, I have stuff on my phone that I'll record while I'm driving, and I say I'll put that in the vault and develop it later or something like that. What's your process?
I've written a couple of songs that way. I'd say for the most part, it starts with me kind of just coming up with something on the acoustic guitar, some sort of music that I like, and then I just kind of start trying to sing a melody to it, and it usually starts out with me mumbling something incoherent, and then at some point I'll spit out a line, and I'll be like, that sounds good there, and then things just kind of evolve from that line. But there's a couple other songs because I've got you get into writer's block, and you're trying to think of ways to break out of that. And there's a couple of there's one song on here. I wrote just playing around on my phone with GarageBand. I came up with sometimes just hearing things differently sparks creativity, and so I actually came up with a chorus, and then I finished it out on the acoustic guitar for a song called Static, which is a real kind of a rock song. And then it's funny, as I sat down and wrote, I had the album in mind. I thought I knew all the songs that were going on it. And during the process, I wrote 2 new songs, and then I bumped a couple of songs to put those on it because I thought these songs were better. And one of the tricks I wanted to try something different to kind of just get my brain to work in a different way, was that I used a random word generator on the internet to try to help, and see what it spit out, and whether, could I write a song around that, and, I didn't dare commit to the first thing that popped out because, that would just be crazy. But one of the words that popped out was Mars. And I was like, all right, I can work with that. And I started thinking about, there's something called Mars One, where it's all these people who have volunteered, thousands of people have volunteered to settle Mars when, even though they have no way of getting over there, they need the fundraising to make this happen. And I think they'd pick like 50 people or something. But I started thinking about who are the people who would do something like that, who would want to move to Mars. You can't come back. You commit to leaving this Earth behind. And so the song is really just about, I figure these people might be running away from some problems. So this song's really, a lot of these songs are relationship-based songs. This one's about a guy who's just, he's in an emotionally abusive relationship, but he just can't pry himself away from this woman who takes advantage of him. And so, the only way to really get away from her is to go somewhere where, returning isn't an option, So that was kind of a new way, and I might try that trick again and see if it works. But
she's gonna find him in Mars. Don't worry. You can't.
It sound like it's "I'm gonna miss you when I'm gone" kind of song. You gonna miss Mars?
Don't miss me on Mars, girl. No, that's
the song goes, "Life on Mars don't sound like such a bad idea. Any place without you is better than here."
Oh,
dang.
all right.
It's kind of a love-hate song.
Just go to Kentucky, you'd be fine.
They'll never find y'all there.
That sounds like got a little blues hit to it too. Yeah.
Man, well, we're going to put the link down at the bottom so where we can, everyone watching can download the Shoestring Sessions by Ryan Shatlin. We had a lot of fun times in the newsroom and the sports room back a long time ago, back in the day, covering sports and Saints camp when it was down in Thibodeau many years ago. So glad to have Ryan on the show. Great expertise with football, that is. We happy to have you on. Again, we're going to have that link at the bottom. Everybody, thanks again for the show. Thanks for joining us again, Ryan, Tyrone, Don. And interested to hear this album. I'm going to download it myself as soon as you give me the link. And I'll put a review out there as well. So definitely want to hear what your latest thing that you're working on.
Thanks for inviting me on here and talking about it. You know, David, we go back 20 years to the Houma Courier.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we used to have. As you get older, you realize work isn't generally that much fun that we had back then. Me and Dave and John Stewart, who works for the SEC Network now, we had a blast. And one of the things I love about social media is I would have probably lost touch with Dave. And, now I know what's going on. I love when he gets inspired and pulls his car over and tells me about the problems of the world. I like to hear his perspective on things. And I really thank you for having me on here. It's nice to meet your brothers. Maybe we can meet in person one day when I'm back down in New Orleans.
Same here. Once we get vaccinated, we'll all hook up and meet again. You know what I mean?
Right. I got to leave the house first before I get to New Orleans.
Right, exactly. Well, Jersey boy, we're going to holler at you. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Shoot the J. We'll catch up with you guys next week. Again, go get that album by Ryan Shatlin, Shoestring Sessions. Not Bruno Mars, but His Life on Mars. And we'll catch y'all the next time. Thanks again, everybody.
All right.
Right.